Mrs. Peach, Thrifty Living. I'm so glad you're here today, and I am going to make another recipe from the 1930s Depression era cookbook. And the reason I wanted to do this, you know, eggs are at an all-time high right now, and I thought it might be fun to do another recipe. This one is a cake. Let me grab my book. And of course it don't call for any eggs in it. It calls for sugar, butter, sour milk, flours, baking soda, baking powder, and cornstarch. And it says make it in 3 layers. Well, I only have 2 layers that are the same size, and then I have one that's a little different. So we're going to just do what we can with what I have, and we're going to get started. How this works. It's been a day or two since I made any. I'm spraying some olive oil that I keep. Well, actually, this might not be olive oil. It's probably vegetable oil or one of those oils, and I just always spray that and get my little brush-like thing here, silicone brush that my sister-in-law gave me one time, and it works very well. I'll get my pans ready. I went ahead and preheated my oven, so it's all set. I'm hoping my glasses aren't glaring. That seems to be quite a problem. And by the way, happy Valentine's Day if you're watching this today. And if not, just treat yourself every day to Valentine's Day, one way or another. Be nice to yourself because God loves you. So, okay, let's get started. I took my butter out of the refrigerator. Actually, this is margarine this time. And I thought, well, you know what? I am not going to get my electric mixer out because I have some berries cooking on the stove here, or had them on. Back to my subject. I don't think they had electric mixers at that time. So I'm sure they used a spoon or whatever to mix up. And this, well, you can see I got a little bit of the berries in it. So I kind of softened this butter up just a little bit where it will be easier to mix with. And I thought I'd just use my little wooden spoon that I use an awful lot. And first off, I'm going to put this butter. And it's not mixing. Boy, we're sure full with our electric things. I just have a hand mixer. I don't have one of the fancier, what is it, KitchenAids or whatever. Another thing I just thought of, I didn't get, and I don't remember it being on the recipe, but I always use salt because I think salt brings out the sugar taste a little better. So here goes. And you see I've had these so many years. Now, boy, I'm really not prepared this time. This calls for 1 cup of sugar. The butter was a 1/3 cup. But I have everything pretty handy here, okay? So I've got a 1/3. Well, I already used the 1/3, so I don't need the 1/3. I need a cup of sugar. That is an awful lot of sugar, so you know what? Usually I cut down a little bit on the sugar because it doesn't seem like you need quite that much. So I'm just going to, this is a cup measure, so I'm probably about 3/4 cup. Still, you could probably get by with less than that. So there goes my sugar. And I'm going to just move these right over here as I use them. And we're going to go from there and see what happens here. Boy, this is different. When you're used to the other. And you know, it didn't call for vanilla, but I think vanilla is good in just about everything. So, and I'm going to just put a little splash in that, probably about a teaspoon. And I'll get that. And just move that out of the way. And then it calls for flour, let's see, call for a cup of sour milk. So I'm going to get my milk soured here. Okay, I'm back. I'm putting my cup of milk. And I'm still using some of the box milk. I do buy it from time to time. And I do use powdered milk a lot because if I'm out of it, you know, when you make things like this, I don't think it really tastes an awful lot that you can really tell whether. And this, I put my vinegar in this. This is an empty ketchup bottle. And I'm going to squirt some of that in there to sour my milk. Stir that up a little bit and just let it sit there just a minute while I mix this up a bit more. And then I think I'll just add, kind of mix, go from one item to another because you can see I haven't made a homemade cake in a day or two. Well, longer than that, really. Okay, now, see that? That's going to work, I think. Because it really is pretty soft, but this reminds me of whenever I was growing up. This is the way we made cakes. And, well, later we got cake mixes. In fact, if you listen to one of my stories on when we went peach picking, Mama would send us with a cake. And it was that orange candy cake. It was a cotton box mix. And of course, they were, I guess, pretty new at that time in life. Okay, you can see that's not real mixed up good, but I'm going to wait about mixing some of that in, yeah? And I'm going to get my, and I have I have a half cup, so I'm going to do 4 of these. There's one, and I think I'll just mix 2 in and stir it a little bit before I mix it all, since I'm kind of. Okay, so I still owe this 1 more cup. And while I'm at it, I'm going to get my measuring spoons. I really wasn't ready for this, guys and girls and whoever's watching. I'm glad you're here. Okay. It's going to be 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And I bought a big one, so I put it in here. There's going to be a 1/2 teaspoon. And let's get it out. Here it is. Okay. And I'm not going to, that's pretty close to a 1/2 teaspoon. And then I'm going to put my salt in, which it did not call for. Which the way I usually do is put a little drop in my hand. Probably a 1/2 teaspoon. And then where's my baking powder? It's a 1 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder. So I've got a 1/4 teaspoon somewhere here. Maybe. There's a teaspoon here. And this one has that little line on it. And they say to check the date on this. And oh my goodness, that is out of date, guys. You think it'll work? We'll see. So if it don't work, we'll know why. Okay, and then it said, that's a 1/2 teaspoon instead of 4. You know what? I'm going to put a 1/2 in because since this is out of date. I think I have a new bottle, a container in there that I have in my closet. Okay, I'm going to mix this up. Oh, one other dry ingredient. This is something I don't normally put in. This is cornstarch, and it calls for 2 tablespoons. So let's go for that. I heard someone say that would take the place of egg. So whether it does or not, we'll see. Okay, there's 1. And 2's coming up. Okie dokie. Let's see. Here's the lid. You know, usually when I'm making food, I try to put things away as I'm going. I'm not perfect at it by any means. Okay, you see I'm mixing it up. More milk in here. That's, you can see it's kind of clabbered looking now. And getting this stirred up. And I need my other cup in here. I can see that little berry that I had in from my spoon. Okay, here is 1/2 more, another 1/2, and then we'll be done with the flour. Okay. By the way, it's Valentine's Day, and finally the sun come out. I'm happy about that. Went to my tops, and actually I plan to do a video talking about my tops meetings. I don't know how much, whether any of you know about tops, but if you don't know about it and you need to lose a little weight and you've tried lots of them, and you know, most of them, the programs are very expensive or pretty expensive. This is a pretty thick dough for a cake. So let's see. Anyway, back to my subject about tops. One of the girls that I watch on, I've been watching her quite a while before I ever even thought of doing a YouTube channel. It was called Sensible Money Mom. And along the way, I've mentioned a few times, I see a few little butter pieces in there. It's not quite as smooth as it would if you got your mixer out, I'm sure. And let's see, but anyway, Tops is a support group for losing weight. It encourages you. It doesn't put you on a diet. They do have one they can tell you about, but we have our support group, our Tops meeting every week, and I'm a big part of that, and I love it. I've been doing it for a long time, and I have reached my goal. You know, at my age in life, I don't know that I want to be skinny mini, but several of our girls have, and we have a whole array of people that's done very well on it. This says it goes in 3. This must be really thin layers, although I don't know how this is going to raise. Whoops. Okay. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, and I'm not sure how the camera is going to show, I'm going to put some in each container. I'm going to divide this. I'll show you at the end. In the meantime, we'll visit, okay? Okay, put 2 scoops in that. This is going to be a little thin cake. Well, you know, in those days, in the 30s and 40s, and they didn't have all the conveniences that we have now, and we're just so blessed to have what we do. I'm gonna get, I don't think they had this thing then either in the 30s, and I'm gonna just scrape this out where I can get all of this, because it seems like it's gonna be awful little layers here. And then I'm going to smooth it out in there. And so that will be what we try out today. And I thought I would put a glaze of fruit on the top of it. Oh my goodness, this is a little, guys. So, and well, let's see, how long does it take to bake? It says 325. Which I have mine at 3. Says it takes 20 minutes. I don't know whether my oven is quite, I've had this oven probably 25 plus years. I don't know. Long time. I think it was around 96. Okay, you can see that's very little. I think I might can maybe put a drop more in that one. And let's get this one smooth down there. Oh boy, this is going to be an interesting one, but it's got to taste pretty good. It's got all the components besides an egg in it, and of course it's got the cornstarch in it, which I think is supposed to be a little substitute in it. One last one, and this is a little teeny bit smaller. So if these turn out at all, we'll put this one on top where it won't be overpowered and really, I mean, it just looked like I made it that way. Many years ago, I used to I think I might have mentioned this. I went to a cake decorating. My aunt used to give cake decorating lessons, just, you know, more for the family, and we did learn quite a bit about cake decorating, and I still have some of my cake deck. It took about, and you can see it's not very thick, but I didn't think it'd be only 2 cups of flour, and then I have these 2 layers here. Once I put it all together, it should make not a gigantic cake, but it'll be good. I took a little taste of the dough, and in the meantime, I took some berries that I had in the freezer that had been there for a while, and they had some little raspberries in it with those little seeds, so I cooked them down, and it had strawberries also and blueberries. So then I strained them, and then I put them in this, I cooked the juice, and I put sugar in it and some water, of course, and then I thickened the water and cornstarch together and made like a jelly-like. So I'm going to put this in between the layers, and we'll see how they, oh, I did put some lemon flavoring also in it, and it really tastes good. I wasn't sure at first whether the berries and the lemon would go good together, but I took a little taste and it was quite good. This is not a very pretty cake. I don't know that I'd be taking it out to my potluck at church, but who knows? Check it out. Let's see. Okay, here's the second, and you see they're not even straight, though. They didn't bake, you know, like real even cakes. It was pretty thick. Boy, but it looks pretty, it looks like it might, the little taste I got of it, I thought it was real good. And it's things you have, basically, probably everybody I know would have these items in their kitchen. Now my third layer, remember, is a smaller, but hey, it's not too bad. Now I think you could have put powdered sugar, a glaze of powdered sugar over this, or any other kind. I have a feeling that's going to be pretty tasty. So I just hope you'll join me again and again, and I should cut this up and have a bite. I could have my son come in and have another taste test. If you haven't watched it, be sure and go back and watch the other, and I did a short of it, and it really went over very well. I asked my son to take a bite of the other food that I had to taste test, and he said it tastes like brains. You got to go back and check that one out. It was the Depression era cooking. And so check that out. It was called glaze. Okay, there's my cake, guys. I'm going to cut a little piece to see how it turns out. Of course, it's still a little warm. Let me get a little saucer out of my, let's just get a little one that has a peach on it, since my name is Peach, Mrs. Peach. Okay. Okay, let's get a little knife, and we'll cut it and see. Oh. Let's see. I got a little wedge, and I have used these little. Actually, this one's just about to fall apart. It's Pampered Chef, and boy, these are the best thing to get a piece of cake or pie out. Hey, that looks pretty good. If I do say so myself. If you was here, I'd give you a piece. If you thought you'd like it, check it out. Now, what do you think? There it is. Let's hold it up just in case. I don't know how the camera's showing. Bless you, and come again. Keep joining me again and again. I appreciate it, and God bless.